I've been asked a few times lately about ads in Google's AI overviews. Should you care about them? Should you be changing your setup to showing them? My answer is, I think that's the wrong question to be asking. The question is whether you understand what Google is doing with the platform in general, and whether you know how to lean into that direction without relinquishing control. I've audited just over 20 accounts already this year, and about half of them are stuck in a 2020 mindset in terms of management. Over-segmented campaigns, manic control over every keyword and bid, and completely resisting any automation because they're convinced Google is out to waste their budget. But the other half have gone in the complete opposite direction. They've given Google complete control, full automations, no constraints, and they're suffering as a result of that too. Bleeding budget on irrelevant, low quality placements and inventory, and watching efficiency collapse. But it requires understanding how to work with Google's system strategically, not clinging to outdated control, but also not blindly handing over the keys. So first, what are AI overviews? Well, AI overviews are those AI generated summaries at the top of the search results. And Google is rolling them out for complex queries that don't have maybe a single correct or right answer. So someone searches for best supplements for sleep and stress. Google shows an AI overview showing multiple perspectives. And now, in select countries, ads can appear inside that overview, not just above and below it, but also inside it. And this is currently live in 12 countries at the time of recording, including in the United States. And really, I'm only seeing these ads being triggered in AI overviews when there's some element of commercial intent. So a query like, why is my pool green, might show an educational overview. If the query is, why is my pool green and how can I clean it, Google is more likely to read commercial intent from that second query. So the AI overview can and maybe will include ads for cleaning products for swimming pools. But what's interesting is that even in the selected countries, not all advertisers are eligible to show up in these AI overviews. So here's what's eligible to show. Firstly, search campaigns using a combination of broad match keywords and smart bidding, performance max campaigns, dynamic search campaigns, and shopping ads. But what's not eligible are search campaigns using exact or phrase match keywords, or campaigns that are not running smart bidding. So those campaigns that I audit that are running exact and phrase match and manual CPC bidding, they're maintaining control over how much they spend, where they have placements, things like that. But by design, they're also limiting where they can show. And that includes within AI overviews. Only people who are leaning into automation, broad match keywords, smart bidding can actually avail of the placement. You don't get to opt in, or you don't get to test it. You either run your account the way Google wants you to, or you're excluded. And this is a pattern I'm seeing more and more over the last 18 months or so. And I think it's something we're going to see significantly more of over the coming year or two. Every new feature is going to push advertisers more in the direction that Google wants. More broad match, more automation, more performance max, less control. And AI overview ads are just the latest example of this. What most people miss is that they think this is a binary opt-in or opt-out. Either resist Google's automation and stay on exact match, or adopt every recommendation Google gives and relinquish all control. In my opinion, both of these approaches fail. And the brands that are winning on Google understand that a third path does exist. And it's one where you lean into Google's direction, because resisting it is expensive and limiting, but you do so strategically. You structure accounts in such a way that you are leaning into broad match, but you're controlling it with negative keywords. You're controlling it by giving good first-party data, helping the algorithm understand who your ideal customers look like. You're using these broad match keywords with guardrails to essentially prevent wasted spend and bleed. You understand how feed optimization works and the significance it has on campaigns like shopping and performance max if it's not set up correctly, because a poorly optimized feed coupled with any bid strategy, but especially with smart bidding, is going to be really unsuccessful. After 100 million in revenue across 100 direct-to-consumer brands, I can tell you the difference between automation that scales and automation that wastes money. It comes down to maybe 15 to 20 specific structural implementations. How you layer campaigns, how you set your bidding constraints, which audiences you feed into the system and which you don't, when to use broad match and when to know when exact match is still the right call, because at times it does have its place. Most people don't have the pattern recognition or the experience, quite frankly, to make these calls correctly. And AI overview ads are just the latest example of this dynamic. Google creates a new feature, makes it only accessible through automation. And now you have to decide, do you adopt it blind and hope it works? Or do you ignore it and accept being excluded from new inventory? Or the last option, do you understand how to structure your account so that you can participate in these placements without hemorrhaging budget. And the third option requires expertise that most brands just don't have on hand. And honestly, most agencies don't have either, because they've either gone in on all of Google's recommendations without strategic oversight, or they're still running accounts like it's 2019. The reality is this: you do need to lean into Google's direction, because fighting it means you can get excluded more and more from inventory and performance enhancements on Google. But you can't always just turn these features on the way Google recommends. That's how you end up spending 40k a month at a ROAS of 0.8, wondering why automation isn't working. The middle ground requires understanding how to structure these campaigns with the correct constraints. This is strategic work, and it's the difference between accounts that scale profitably and accounts that scale into unprofitability. At Vulcan, this is exactly what we do. We work with D2C brands doing at least $100,000 in monthly revenue. We don't resist Google's recommendations. We don't blindly adopt them either. We build account structures that work with where the platform is heading while protecting your margins and business outcomes. And if you want to talk about how that works for your specific business, then there's a link in the description to book a call with me today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you at the next one.